Nostalgia. 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 In fact, as I was watching the mini feature, the spirit of Aluta was burning in me. Those good clothes when we were in the trenches, giving Babangida and his cohorts a run for their gunfire. How many soldiers, how many students soldiers were killed? Then go kill us, Taya.
You have not introduced us.
I'll do that. Yes, so before we go further, my guests are seated with you, and I will, in no particular order, begin to introduce them from my immediate right. Nelson Epujimi Kobre, a June 12 activist, including a human rights activist anyway. Comrade Debo Adeniran, equally a June 12 activist, and the last but not the least, Comrade Pastor Tunde Oyeshiji, equally activist of no mean excellence. All of them are involved in the June 12. See, I can't call it a struggle. What do I call it?
An epoch.
Epoch is something that is a watershed. I'm sure. See, watching the video or the mini feature is something that reenacts strong nostalgia about, this is how we did it and it happened. People thought it can't happen. And fairness, I would say kudos to President Muhammadu Buhari, who gave it recognition, because people didn't believe it will happen. But you see, God in his infinite ways used the military man to give democracy a meaning, to give June 12 a meaning. And I hope indeed his name too should have been in that list, but we are going somewhere. I want to start with Nelson. Just give us your own summary, your involvement in the June 12 epoch-making event.
Well, I don't know where.
Just start anywhere.
Okay, well, I think just like every other Nigerian, I was part of the struggle, and I can say for free that there are millions of Nigerians who played one part of the other.
Unsung heroes.
Unsung heroes. And one thing that comes out very glaringly was the resilience and the perseverance of the Nigerians. When we had that election and Babangida treasonably annulled it, the Nigerian people determined on their own to take their destiny in their hands, and they vowed that Babangida was going to leave, because everything pointed to the fact that Babangida wanted to perpetuate himself in office. And so, looking at the mini feature, June 12 has always had a life of its own, because after that annulment,
can't be killed,
the government of Sani Abacha tried everything in the books. And we continue to celebrate June 12. When General Obasanjo came back in 1999 as a democratic student, he told us to consign it into history. And some of us who were very conversant with history remembered when late President M.K. Abiola wrote late Chief Gani Fahimi, when there was this rumor about Chief Abiola surrendering the mandate. Chief Abiola wrote in that letter, which I'm also privy to. Chief Abiola said the former General Obasanjo, former President Obasanjo, led a retinue of 26 traditional rulers to go and plead with M.K. Abiola in the Gulag to surrender the mandate. Chief M.K. Abiola said he told him off in unspeakable terms that people gave a mandate in the open. You want me to come and negotiate it in the dark, that I don't do such. I have a name to protect. So when you look at the insistence of Nigerians until former President Muhammadu Buhari acknowledged it nationally on June 6, 2018, if I'm correct. That was when we all came out and we gave glory, and we congratulated ourselves, because it was the Nigerian people that the flag flying. If we had succumbed to those intimidation, to the bullying, to the threats, in fact, it got to a stage. Former President Obasanjo even made the statement that we should be arrested if we even mention the word June 12. And we said he was speaking to himself.
It can't work. It can't work. June 12 can never be killed.
Well, I thought that you were going to go to Pastor OACG before me because on June 12th, I've always been against the flow, and I'm still against the flow.
Yes.
Even before June 12th, well, based on what we observed in those days, when the transition program, transition from free to civilian was postponed severally. Our leader then, who was the first chairman of the Campaign for Democracy, late Alao Akabashon, pronounced that he saw hidden agenda within the precincts of the unending postponement of the transition program. And you know, there was this Politburo that is set up, political bureau, headed by, was it Emeawa? No, maybe I can't remember the chairman. Okay, no, there was Politburo, political bureau, which gave birth to zero party arrangement, and that was when Professor Emeawa, who was a teacher to Humphrey Nwosu, headed the commission.
Yes.
That is so. Right. And everybody went into frenzy, thinking that the concept of new breed position would be allowed to skate through. You know, Babangida said he didn't want old politicians to come in. He wanted new breed. And everybody thought that would be true. But at a stage, he banned all the associations that wanted to transmit to political parties. He banned all the politicians. All those who were preparing, who were registered to contest election, he actually banned them. That was the manifestation of the hidden agenda to a very large extent. Yeah. So that was the time we lost faith in whatever Babangida could arrange, thinking that he has vested interest in everything that he's doing. Now, he was shopping for somebody who win election and surrender the mandate to him. He couldn't find. Of course, before then, you know, Abiola and Babangida used to be friends.
Yeah, but they were buddies.
So he thought that spirit of friendship, forgetting that Abiola had become the pillar of sports in Africa and indiscriminate, you know, philanthropist in Nigeria. Okay? Forgetting that people have bought into Hope 93 agenda, a fair way to poverty slogan. So forgetting that those who were campaigning for Abiola were in the grassroots. They were not the elitist class and those who related with the military nicely. Okay? Forgetting that people were against him because of the implementation of structural adjustment program, you know, that made life meaningless to the people, and education, in fact, it penetrated everywhere and we could not move forward in this country. So Abiola knew that he was not going to play to the gallery. And he kept on moving on. He no longer recognized the dictates of the military. So that's where they began to fear that Abiola will not succumb to their threats. So when June 12th eventually came, because there was voter apathy, and as a matter of fact, those of us in the Campaign for Democracy said that people should not go out to vote because Babangida was not going to actualize it, and that will happen at the end of the day. That campaign for democracy that we are talking about is not this kind of democracy that a Babangida can give birth to. So when it happened, people were forced. People said it was peaceful. Yes, it was peaceful because everywhere was occupied by soldiers and nobody want to dare those who are wielding guns. Then what will you do? You have to queue behind your candidate. So you did it in the open, exposing your life to the dangers of being spotted as not voting for somebody who can also be vicious. So that means that the right to privacy has been violated. The right to association has been violated. The right to hold an opinion, because government rules, manifestos, and programs for the two political parties. Then they give them their ideology, a little to the right, a little to the left, which is strange. To anywhere in the world, okay? If you want to be a centrist, you be a centrist. So, at the end of the day, June 12th happened. And on June 23rd, it was annulled. As a matter of fact, the commission that Meanwhile, the June 12th thing was banned 3 days after the election. Humphrey Wozu claimed that he was being hunted, that he had been declared wanted. Then we said, go ahead, announce the result, because the result was already out and in the hands of several people. And we actually printed it out in leaflets. He was looking for us because of that leaflet. And at the end of the day, on June 23rd, with an unsigned statement, the thing was annulled. So what exactly is it that made June 12th a watershed? Watershed to what? To how democratic practice should be, to how democratic elections should be, to how people should not be treated, to how people's lives can be violated with impunity. So it's not the only thing that made June 12th sick is Abiola, who committed class suicide.
Okay.
Yes, let me stop there so that I will take most of your time.
Yeah. To you, June 12th.
Yeah, I may not have facts and figures like all these advanced comrades who have been on the field, maybe having about June 12th.
Yeah.
The one thing is sure, it is an event that can never be forgotten.
Yeah.
That can never be forgotten, because we discovered that June 12th became an eye-opener that they do not want them. There are those people in this country who don't want democracy at all. And there are those who want democracy. And this democracy, like what I'm saying, it affected a lot of, I know some brand military officers that were retired prematurely. They nicknamed them June 12th. So every area, there was this issue of June 12th. And people, some of us were even surprised by the actions of Chief MK Abiola, because personally I was thinking that before this man spent 3 months in prison, he's going to succumb. But we now discover that I think God now strengthen him in a particular way that he will be able to withstand all the assault of what they were bringing across to him. And he stood gidigba, like you always say, that this man is standing and he meaning, and he was ready to do anything so that he can actualize June 12th. I will want to end up like this.
Yes, sir.
All of you, the advanced comrades, voters forum, I believe that democracy is meant to achieve something.
Yeah.
Let's tell those who are in power, and you people, help us tell them, let this democracy achieve what it was intended to achieve.
It will achieve. It will achieve. I assure you, sir. It will achieve. And you who are watching, who are thinking that it can be so, it can be so, we are growing. This was not how it was before June 12th, and this was not how it was in 1999, and this is not how it was in 2023, and obviously it won't be like this in 2027. We are advancing. We are advancing. And of course, there is a history. And that history is that determination. And that's where Comrade Debo Adeniran is saying. And of course, it is that protestation, coupled with what Comrade Nelson Ekojimi said, that the people were now resolute, despite the various dribbling, that no, democracy must see the light of the day. And that's why people like us are involved till tomorrow. Some of us have been labeled that, oh, you are just wasting your time. But to me, my own greatest joy was Muhammadu Buhari recognizing June 12th in any form, in any way. At least that day to me is the day that democracy was born in Nigeria. That day was the day that our resolute nature as a people that we want this thing to happen, happened by that election. And because of it, we still want people to believe that democracy is still the way out. How we now get there is now in our hands. You, every one of us have a hand in it. You know, there is this song that we normally sing. All of us have a hand in it. All of us have a hand in it. How Nigeria get to this level? All of us have a hand in it. And of course, how it will get better, all of us will have a hand in it. Those of us who are in Lagos as it is, and you come to through Ikorodu Road going to Ikeja, there is this big statue that have this sign like this. It is about unity. And look at it, I don't see how anybody can break this bond. I don't see anybody, no matter how strong, they can't break this bond. We must be united to fight for democracy. That's the way out. Before then, there is nothing we can do. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, then definitely we'll take your text messages, then we'll go deeper into this the second leg of the program. Don't go away. It has been a heated time in the studio here. And Debo is trying to intimidate me. And I told him that he will come back again. And I'm sure those of you who send your text messages, that's what I want you to help me do, that he must come again. This is his first time of coming here live for this program. So he must come again. He wants to jump out. He has money. We have arrested you today. So you'll be with us. And the way we say thank you. That's the number you send your text messages to. Please, no call. I won't take your call. In fact, the topics are so many. I just remember the honors list. Maybe we'll just delve into that a bit. So we agree that it's work in progress. We'll just delve into the honors list. Because I just heard about Padoko, Ayo Padoko, and he's one of our leaders in the trenches. I did see, who did I see again? I saw somebody. Did they mention Oshoba?
They didn't mention Oshoba.
Oshoba is not there. Oshoba is one of the leaders of the
There are two Oshobas.
No,
both of them, they are both Segun Oshoba. They are both activists. One is a professor, one is a governor.
There are so many. So those who drew the list, please just note it that the list is inexhaustible. And I
believe the list is work in progress.
I agree with you. So that when they are working in the progress, they will remember even the unsung Mama Lata, the market women who supported us,
identify
and all the boys on the street,
even taxi drivers.
The truth is that Mama Magaji herself introduced the president, the then Bola Tinubu, just ordinary, into the struggle.
Yes, Mama,
because she was the first, market woman, helping us to reach every nook and crannies in Lagos,
all over Nigeria.
Our leaflets, we took it to them in the middle of the night. We explained to them in the language that they understood. Those who didn't understand Yoruba, we explained. We got somebody who could speak their language. Those who different things. That woman should be more than immortalized.
In fact, it does not matter. Maybe we will not. People like us will support Tinubu.
She's an heroine of democracy.
Because she's one of the heroines of politics.
Yes.
So it's a big error that Mama Tinubu.
She rallied everybody.
Don't worry.
She was the pillar of the struggle. Her name. Yes, maybe
no, because of the embarrassment that naysayers will say about
but it doesn't matter. We're the ones who were in the struggle.
So yes, now those who
are in the struggle, will not help. So listen.
Well, the list, like you have rightly mentioned, when I saw the list and I saw comments in the list, I knew within myself that it was not possible for us to have all the names
we are more than millions
for the first year because we even had a press conference on that day in the morning where we advocated recognition for the heroes of June 12th. And lo and behold, when Mr. President made his broadcast with the National Assembly at about noon, it was as if he watched and he quickly, but they must have had their plans months before now. But be that as it may, I think the list, like I said earlier, is work in progress. That there are so many names that.
Yes. For some time, some of us just believe that national honors were being conferred on those who didn't deserve it, because those are the people who brought us to this sorry state of politics in Nigeria. that things should change.
Yeah.
And like I told some people on the other day in Abiola's house, I say if Bola Tinubu doesn't get it right, then it's only revolution that can rescue Nigeria from the stranglehold of bad politicians, selfish politicians who are parochial about whatever the commonwealth of this country. So those that have been honored, several of them, there are some of them that don't deserve it, true, because we knew that some of them play anti stronghold. They were illustrators. So some of them were hypocrites. They were sitting on the fence. You know, they just jump into where you have success. But then several of them qualified to be, and several are still outside there. Baba Omoloja cannot be left out.
Even Alfred Ilere.
Alfred Ilere cannot be left out. You know, Mama Abibatu Magaji helped us at the level of grassroots.
So that Mama can sleep very well.
Okay, so it doesn't matter what people will say.
We are there to support, to come to
when we learn to cul-de-sac about funding, is the one who commandeered her son to assist us before Alfred Riwane.
People by Ibrahim Adesoya.
So these are some of the so basically it is inexhaustible. I know that those that have been honored deserve it. I mean, many of them, most of them deserve it. We know that we still have two more democracy days to go.
Late advisor to Goodluck Jonathan.
Yeah.
The Chikoko movement guy.
Douglas. He's also an hero. Douglas. No, there are several of them. Yekau Dumake himself. So that can be said. But then,
we can't exhaust the list.
Bola Tinubu should not allow Ibrahim Babangida to go scot-free. Okay? He should be punished for committing crimes against, deliberately committing crimes against,
mentioned it.
Against humanity.
Maybe Tinubu should look at this issue.
Because a lot of...
Sorry.
Okay.
So that you have done it, so that because of time.
Okay, sir.
President Tinubu should look at the issue of Ken Saro-Wiwa and his fellow tribesmen. I'm talking now as a lawyer. The tribunal that found him guilty was constituted to murder him and his people. So the issue of pardon shouldn't have come in at all. What the government should do is to set up a investigative panel to see into what has happened. And of course, they will come to confirm that it was a state murder, and that judgment on him should now be quashed by government, by that team, and of course, he will now be given a clean bill of health, not pardon. He didn't do anything wrong to deserve pardon. I'm saying it with all sense of authority, so that, you see, innocent people should not be put to death or put to pay for what they have not done. And maybe later you now turn around and say you forgive them. He's acting to a boy because you don't like him. You saw him just walking around somewhere. You now start beating him that he's not supposed to be there, and so on and so forth, just because you have him in mind before. That is aside. Please, before I forget, I want this again, the CSR thing. Please, those of you living around flood-prone areas, please move away. If you have your people around there, tell them to come and stay with you for some time. It's better they inconvenience you for some time, or for them to be a burden on you later, when you now begin to tell stories that touches the heart. The Yorubas will say, half word is enough for the wise. I hope the wise man within us can take it up from their side. So, sir, June 12 now.
The award.
The award. Yeah. The government is a continuum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we want to believe that the president is a listening president.
Sure.
From the look of things and from what we are hearing and with what we saw and those who have been talking about it, certainly there are names that are supposed to be in this list that are not there.
Yeah.
So we want to appeal to the government to please revisit this issue and honor those people that deserve honor. For people to stand against military government, to stand, to face bullet. Some people died. I had us mentioning there was a man that lost his eye because of June 12. Lost completely today. He lost his eye because so people came out.
Lives.
Many.
So many disappeared. There's a press center in Alausa, the seat of God. They call it Bagadaka. He was a journalist. He disappeared without trace till today. So many, some of their lives.
Was he the one they were talking that they got him in Kaduna also?
No, so many.
Tomorrow we have not.
Media houses were closed down.
Yes.
People were bombed in their homes. Kudirat Abiola was assassinated here now.
Those of us that are sitting there, we just want to thank God.
Sergeant Rojas
Yes,
confessed that he was actually sent after to go and kill Kudirat Abiola and trail her to that Oregun
serving of practice.
Yes.
Some of you need to come and do Thanksgiving.
No, that's
your life.
Please let us focus on the program. Don't let us go religious. Please don't. I mean, it's a serious matter.
We can't leave God out of this.
Leave religion out of it. So when you do that. So what I'm saying is this. Of course, everybody has his own relationship with God in a way. And if you believe that you have to worship before God sees you, that is your own cup of tea. Now, what I am saying is that those who should be punished, there should be hall of shame. We have to shame those who make democratic, engagement in this country impossible, difficult to achieve. Because all of the things that we've been talking about, if we had had somebody like Bola Tinubu since 1999, all of these reform could have taken place, and we will have. Now, you were talking about an Obasanjo who said that Abiola wasn't in Messiah.
He went to Harare.
He was even telling us that we were committing offense against the state. For treason.
Yes, but by information,
he would have been shot if not because of June 12. So these are some of the things that we need to deal with. All of those who have derided our struggles.
Of course,
so all of those who have derided our collective struggle,
our sweats,
yes, should be made to be prominent in the hall of shame. It is not because Obasanjo was good. It was because Babangida wanted somebody who will not probe his involvement in all the crimes against humanity. IBB killed his best man.
General Vasa.
For a phantom coup that didn't happen, Obasanjo would have died in that coup. Beko would have died. Christiania would have died. Koni Ajibade would have died. Ubasani, who is now the governor of Ubasani, who is now the governor of Kaduna State, would have died in that coup. Shehu Sani would have, just because somebody faxed a document to them in the north. All of these things, it would have shot all of us. So the hall of shame should be established. And like I've said before, June 12 is not about democracy. It's about Abiola. Abiola is the reason why June 12 became fake. And I said that instead of naming June 12 Democracy Day, because democracy didn't happen on that day, we should be named after MKO Abiola. It's just like you have Martin Luther King Day in the US. That's January 1 or so. So that will kind of immortalize him more than what anybody could contemplate. Okay? But if we divide June 12, we will be telling people that what happened was actually democratic. There's no history that tell our people what happened. Because the way some people, even adults, even those who are older than us, are talking about June 12th.
Yes.
It's like,
if
that was not democracy.
Don't worry, Debo.
Yes.
For all intents and purposes,
Yes.
June 12 was the day Nigerians defied. Is that
defiance?
That defiance and that spirit of unity.
That's not the first day. The transition
that
program that brought us from Gowon to Shagari, brought us from Gowon to Shagari. There was no consideration for primordial sentiments also. So it was not the first time.
Sorry, Debo.
Yeah.
Somebody just been trying here. You are doing great. From where are you? And yes, we are doing great. You are doing great. And some numbers have been busy calling. Please, I say, don't call. We don't pick calls. Just send your text. You want to hear your voice? There will be time for that. For now, what we do is that you send your text messages and we read it. No matter what you send, we'll read it here. But please, don't call. Save us that stress. Then, Nelson, apart from the June 12, the way it has traversed, has your expectations been met? Because we put our lives on the line. You need to see what people like us went through. I remember now, me and you were together when we were tear gassed and bullets were flying. Sir, we are just sitting here by the grace of God. No, so those times that you were running on the streets too, what is it? This type of a democracy?
Well, as imperfect as a democracy might be now,
yes,
it's still incomparable to military despotism.
Okay.
Because today I can go to TV stations to talk, I can speak on radio. I will not be afraid that as I'm stepping out,
we can share pamphlets.
That as I'm stepping out of this,
they will break it.
Yes, or they will break it. That is it. So when I see people lose elections and they are saying military should come and take over, I tell them, if you witness military for 1 week, you will not dream. You will not even dream about it. Not to say you talk about it. So my expectations have not been met.
Okay.
But with the journey so far, I'm happy we're on the right track. I'm happy that we are making progress and we are suffering setbacks. Like Yorubas will say, you cannot walk and your neck will be stiff and not bended right or left. So, as a people, if you look at our transition since 1999, this is the first time we're having 26 years unbroken democratic system in place. So I'll just urge Nigerians that we should not allow politicians to make us dig our own grave. Politicians, this is one country among several others. I don't know, I have not witnessed election in other countries, where somebody will contest an election. In the morning, he will say this election is the worst. The electoral umpire has compromised. They have rigged. Police have stolen ballot papers. And when the electoral umpire, at the conclusion of the process, declare him the winner with the same mouth, he will say there's no election like this in the world. That is the best. So Nigerians should be very careful with our politicians. Look at Ghana. They had an election on December 7. Even before the final declaration of results, the ruling party that the vice president was the presidential candidate immediately calls the other candidate and conceded. But not in that. Somebody will say, I have won. Where did you win? It will say, just agree that I have won. You start making noise. We were rigged. Our result was not on IREV. As if IREV is a collation center.
This guy, somebody is saying something here. Dayo Oluduga from Ikorodu, he agrees with Comrade Badeniro. He says that there should be a bill to change Democracy Day to MKO Day. I'm also a victim of June 12. It's a day I can never forget.
We are getting there.
But we are getting there.
Yeah.
Don't keep quiet. We
Yeah.
want this is like feedback to us.
At
We
least
want
I
you to
have
talk
one
to us.
apostle now. I have one apostle now. Somebody who believe in me. I'm not alone.
So don't worry.
Thank you.
So your comrade is happy
Yes.
that
I'm happy.
you are with him. Yeah, hi sir. You are doing well, sir. What is democracy? What is June 12 about? It's about MQ Abiola or democracy. Is it about MQ Abiola or democracy? 2-0. You have to on your side. So that's great. Don't call, please. If you just send your text messages, I won't edit it. I'm not an editor. I'm a lawyer. I'm a pastor.
I'm a presenter. OAP.
So I'll read it out for you. Don't worry. But if you call, I won't take your call. Pastor,
Sir.
Don't preach.
no, he's not going to preach. In your closing remark,
Yes, sir.
what is your own view, expectation? You have witnessed democracy, First Republic, Second Republic, this Third Republic.
Like I said earlier, democracy is meant to achieve a better, smooth government. And like Comrade Nesna said, even though we've not been able to get to where we wanted, we are still on the way. So we want to appeal to those who are in power. Thank God that people are hearing, they are commenting and seeing the faces. Some of people must have seen your faces during that time of struggle. Even the way we were talking now is like we are still on the battlefield.
Of course.
But we thank God that God is helping us.
Yes.
So I want to appeal to those who are in power. But he was talking that, but it is the politicians that are in power. I don't know, maybe to get into political position is what makes them to behave the way they behave.
Yeah.
But we want to appeal to them. This democracy should be for all of us, should benefit from it, not that politicians only are benefiting from it. We want to appeal to those who are in power, who are there now by the grace of democracy. Please, let's do something that will make everybody to be comfortable.
Yes, okay. Moses is saying, I'm happy for our guests in the studio for being alive today. I believe in their lifetime, democracy will stand as a dream. I almost killed with a sword in 1993 demonstration as a student there. He was almost killed.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we remember
That's 32 years ago.
students.
Yeah. Those
No,
who
of course.
they are adults now.
Yeah, they
And
are
those who are
students.
Yeah.
I was in my final year then.
So really, we want to thank all of these students. Then again, who is this? Who is this again? Taisha Ada from Ikola, Lagos. Good afternoon, elders in the house. Today, I come to know actually what happened June 12. I was little boy, 11 years old then. I could imagine how people were shouting Abiola, but as a little child, I couldn't understand. But now I understand. Thank God for today's program.
That's right.
Really, because it's an eye-opener. Please don't call. Don't worry. I'll pick your number. I'll call. This one is, good afternoon, sir. June 12 is all about MQ government and should name it after MQ. I was in primary school when we were campaigning for Abiola. Right. It's a great show today. And this is the way.
No last word on us.
So, okay. But I'm always afraid to make okay, it's running in 30 seconds.
Okay.
30 seconds. I'll be counting.
In 30 seconds, I just want to reiterate, you know, that June 12 should not be deified.
Yeah.
We should know that it has been thwarted.
Yes.
So any democracy that was truncated
Yes.
is not a full democracy.
Yes.
So it's a pseudo democracy.
Yes.
So what we should do
Yes.
is to move ahead. We are no longer where we are.
Yes.
We know that we are on the right path, and
Yes.
we should move on that direction.
Yes.
And those who have made our lives difficult should be put in the hall of shame. And those that have made us happy
Thank you.
should be in the hall of fame.
Director is
Thank you.
telling me that my time
Okay,
is up.
okay.
You too. Just 20 seconds, round up.
I just aligned my thoughts with Comedy.
Thank you very much.
So,
Very
here
much.
we are.
Let me use his 20 seconds. Please go ahead.
Now we have come to the end of today's program. But you can be sure we are going to drag Debo here. This is the problem with us today. We are going to drag him. And yes, Debo, put him on camera. Debo, we are expecting you next week. Don't tell me no. Nigerians want to hear from you because we want this June 12th.
It may not be next week.
No, we can carry it
anyway,
on Zoom.
maybe because I will be in Ocean State by next Saturday.
We'll since it will be in
Thank
Ocean
you.
State, we'll try and see if we can pick it on Zoom
Thank
so that
you.
we just do a follow up to this June 12th.
That's right.
When it's still trending, and
That's
for
right.
our younger ones to know the sense of history that June 12th is all about. It's a bumper program, an interesting program.
You promised
and
that.
we thank God for the opportunity. And